Welcome to the Periwinkle Pomegranate Podcast, from women, for women. We're here to help you thrive, express your creativity, heal through natural wellness, and find peace every day through our faith-based discussions. And now, here is your host.
Hi friends, I'm Tiffany Windsor.
And I'm Mary.
Mary, today I want to talk about clear messages. I'm not so sure how I want to frame this because the first thought is, there's so many coincidences going on. And I stopped myself and said, no, these are clear messages. Just like when we talked about walking into church, there was a moment where you mentioned something, I could feel a clear breath coming through, and then we walk in and the sermon for the day is about breath. A little story, little side note that I have for something that happened to me yesterday. One of the things that I'm doing in the Periwinkle Pomegranate community is building social media. And what I've found is that I'm able to pull a lot of things that I've done in the past and pull them over because the message is very clear that what I've worked on in the past, this message needs to get out now. So one of my websites, I don't even know if it's still up. It may still be up. It's called Inspired at Home. And it was where I was trying to pull all of these things together with wellness and creativity. What was missing was God. So I'm pulling all of this wellness and creativity into Periwinkle Pomegranate. And I was pulling some old Instagram posts and artwork that I was doing. And part of Inspired at Home was the circle of dots that I put on everything as part of my icon. And when I was pulling them over and I was rebranding them for Peepo, for Periwinkle Pomegranate, I started to pull the dots off and I heard a very clear voice that said, no, keep those. So what happens today? I learned about a book that's called The Circle Maker, and you pray until something happens. And so again, there's these clear messages that are coming through for both you and me that I'm trying very hard to listen to and move them into the space that we're in right now.
And I love the acronym for pray until something happens is PUSH. As soon as Pastor said something about that, I started to think about that, answered prayers. And the last song we sang was I'm Lost Without You. And I had my hand on my chest and I put my other hand over. It was like God was holding my hand, but it was my own hands. It sounds weird, but I could feel him holding my hand. And it was so interesting because I needed him to be with me and lead me because I've been asking him for clear clarity, not just regular clarity. I'd like some clear clarity, knowing that I don't know what to do unless he's going to hold my hand. And that was so like a physical feeling. And sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need physical feelings, and sometimes we need a message that's really clear, or a friend to tell us or help us decide what to do next. But God is in the business of that, of coincidences that are God incidences, God encounters.
I love that. Another note that I wrote about PUSH was the prayer we gave in order for heaven to move. If we don't ask, then how do we get movement? Very clear message from this, and clear messages that I'm receiving as I'm just trying to incorporate all of this into visual and feeling and healing and blessings. And it's really exciting for me. Most of all today in talking about this, Mary, is to hear that you felt God's touch. That fills my heart.
That makes my heart happy. Something like that hasn't happened to me for a very long time. So I just needed that. And where did I find it? In church. And where have I been reluctant to go? Church. So I just listening to those promptings that the Lord gives us. And I even showed up at church by myself and showed up and was outside and I saw some people I knew and had some conversations and got a migraine and had to leave the first time. And so it's interesting that I feel like, I don't know if that's happening to me from myself or if that's maybe, the enemy trying to keep me away. But I thought, okay, there's something there. If I have this much opposition to try and get into church, there must be something there.
Well, I am very happy that you pushed through that because now we can both be accountability partners because we drive together, and it just makes you get up and out and ready for the day. No excuses.
No excuses. And I know I've been around the block enough times to know that if I really don't want to go or really don't want to do something, it's probably something I really need to do. But the nice thing and the blessing is that hasn't happened at church yet. So I'm relieved.
So I just want to give thanks to the Lord for presenting us with some very clear messages. Some of them come through quiet voices, some of them come visually, some of them come through physical signs. And for Mary today, it was God holding her hand. And oh my goodness, that just makes my heart sing. Thank you so much for sharing that.
And keep praying until something happens.
Thank you for joining us for today's podcast. For more information, go to periwinklepomegranate.com. Sign up for our newsletter and social media. We love your feedback. Please leave reviews, comments, and subscribe to this podcast to help us get the word out about Periwinkle Pomegranate. Thank you, and dear friends, have a blessed day.